Dude, not as exciting as this. I'll tell you that right now. But
Hi, Tony. So nice to finally meet you. Obviously, wish it was a bit better circumstances, but
Yes.
nevertheless, how are
Yeah.
you?
How you doing, Ali? Thank you for having me.
Of course. So obviously, We've all seen the episode now. We've all seen what's happened. So I guess my first question to you is, how are you feeling?
I'm, watching it with my family, we were all laughing. I got voted out and we were laughing. We were like, what's wrong with this? Why are we laughing when I just got voted out? But it was just so funny. It was just a classic bag of tricks. It didn't work, but it was still fun to watch. So I'm in good spirits.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. And yeah, I mean, you went out swinging, and I will touch on that. But I do want to first ask you. Obviously, this is a Survivor Olympics, as the fans have been saying. So, what was it like getting the call for AU versus the world, and ultimately, what made you say yes?
So when I got the call, the first question was, "What's the prize money?" I'm looking for the money. And when I heard the prize money, I was like, I don't know if I want to go do that again for that, because after conversion to American money is not that much. It's still a lot. It's more than I make in 2 years, 3 years time. But I'm like, I don't know, maybe not. And then they told me, how about if we told you it's the world crown? This is going to be like the global world crown. I said, whoa, now you got my attention. So that's the only thing that I wanted to go there for. I wanted that crown. I wanted to win 3 times, first of all, but the other one was to win a global crown. The global title of Soul Survivor. Oh my God.
You wanted the glory for sure.
I sure did.
So obviously, coming into this game, you weren't the only American. You had also Sari and Parvati. So, what was your game plan going in, maybe with those two or just in general?
So I didn't know who was I didn't know who was playing. I didn't know who was going to
Mhm.
be on. So when I went and hit the beach and I saw Parvati and Sari, I was happy. I was like, okay, we have 2 Americans. It's a big target on us because there's 3 of us strong, but at least I can work with them. I don't know them outside the game. I've never interacted with them outside the game. I've never played with them, but I know that they're good players. And
Mm.
like any good player will know that we need to keep each other strong because we're all we have in this kind of game until we get to the merge. And then, you can find your own different paths. But my thing was, I'm glad to be here with these 2 girls because I can stay strong with them. But when I seen the unbalanced tribe, I seen the 4 girls and the 3 guys, I was like, okay, all right, this is going to be a problem. I said, if these 4 girls stick together, they're going to vote a guy off. If they vote a guy off, then I know I'm done. And sure enough, the first person voted off was Rob. Tommy and I, we can't go against the girls because there's 4 of them. They're majority. So if they come to us and start telling us they want to get rid of Rob, we can't fight that because we'll be next. So we try to hold the peace and went with the flow. And going with the flow means you're in the minority of numbers.
Yeah, we definitely saw that, and we definitely saw you kind of lay low and kind of in a way start to focus on building bonds. We saw you do that with Tommy, and we saw you do that as well with kind of Parvati and Sari. I'm assuming what drew you to Tommy was the fact that obviously you were both in this minority position, but was there anyone else that you were drawn to work with on that
I,
tribe?
I went to Lisa, and it was clear that Lisa was a big fan of Cerise. She's a big fan of Survivor. When I tried to talk strategy with her, I wasn't getting anything. So I knew I didn't want to push Lisa. I
Hmm.
went to Cass, same thing. Hey, Cass, what do you want to do? What's going on? And it was anything but strategy talk. And now watching the show back, and I seen how adamant Cass was to go after me. The only thing I can think of is that she watched my previous seasons in the US version, and she probably says, you know what? I don't want to trust this guy. I got to get rid of him. I don't play like that. I play the
Yeah.
player in the season I'm playing with. I don't care what you did in your prior seasons. I don't care because everything always changes. You got to adapt to the game that you're playing. So when I try to talk to Lisa, she shut me down. And then it was very clear for Tommy and I that not only we were in the minority of numbers, but the girls shut us out. Get us water, get us sticks, get us coconuts, make a fire. We're cold. Get us this, get us that. And Tommy and I, we just had to run around like puppy dogs. And that was how it was on that tribe. We had no choice. We had to just go with the flow.
Yeah, and we definitely saw you go with the flow, and we saw a new kind of Tony. I feel like each season you've played, we've always seen a different version of you. The onion has taken off the layers, shall we say. But did you have any spy-related things you wanted to do? We know you've seen the spy shack and we've seen you do the spy tree. Was there another spy-related thing we were going to see in AU versus the world?
Ali, there was no need to spy on anyone. It was so blatant that the four girls were saying it's either Tony or Tommy. There's nothing I need to hear. They would always go and congregate right in front of us all the time. Me and Tommy would just sit there, and I mean, you can see my face too. I was just deflated. You can see that sense of I was just completely deflated. I was like, I don't have a shot here, you know? I just gotta hope that we can get to the merge. I gotta hope we don't lose a I gotta hope we don't lose a challenge to go into tribal. And everything I was hoping for, everything I was hoping not to happen, happened. You know, we went to a challenge, and then, oh, both teams are coming in because the Americans killed the Aussies in that challenge, you know? But Jonathan came out with the twist and says, everybody's going to tribal tonight. And then the bigger twist is pick a rock. It wasn't like, hey, you know, it would have been perfect. They would like, this tribe, you pick your fire maker, and this tribe pick your fire maker and battle it out. It was a game of chance. Pick a rock. And in all our minds, we were saying, please, Nasiri, please, Nasiri, please, Nasiri. And guess what? Another hope of mine, another dream of mine just came crumbling down when she showed the white rock.
So that leads me to another question I had then. When it came to that tribal council, did you want to make fire?
I would have loved to make fire. And you know, when I seen, yeah, of course. I mean, I won $2 million making a fire. I made a $2 million fire in season 40. And it was against a girl called Sarah, my partner, Cops R Us. And this one was Sarah making a fire. So it would have been epic for me to be going up against another Sarah.
The consistency, I love it.
Yeah, it would have been great.
I want to go back quickly to the challenges because we saw you do so well in these challenges. Was there a favorite challenge or moment from that?
You know, I mean, these challenges are brutal, especially when they're day after day after day. There's no downtime like there is in a regular long season. This is like every day. You got to. So there was one challenge, the challenge where you had to throw the bean bags and knock down the big blocks. So Tommy put the blocks up there, and he put the blocks too forward. So when you hit him with the beanbag, it took like 5 times you had to hit it to make it go off the ledge. Where the other team already knew about that and they were putting it back more. So you tap it and it used to fall. So my shoulder was on fire. And again, I was praying and hoping to the gods that there's no more shoulder challenges going forward. And the very next day, you had to hold up the beanbags with your shoulders. It's like everything I was hoping not to happen just kept happening. It was just my stars were definitely not aligning.
I was going to say, from what you're saying, I can really see that. Obviously, I do want to quickly, before we get into that epic tribal of yours, I want to talk about your reads because you really did have some amazing reads in this game, like in terms of the Girls Alliance, kind of where they all stood, like the key and how that all went. What kind of made you kind of realize these things? Was it just quite obvious, or was it from playing so many seasons you kind of knew what to look out for?
So Ali, I would love to sit here and tell you, well, I'm a great player. I know how to read everybody. That's what makes me so good. But I'm not going to say that. I'm going to tell you the truth. The truth is that they made it so obvious. Poverty is so blatant when she has some power. She just runs around laughing all day. You know, when she doesn't have power, she's walking around with her tail between her legs. But when she has power, her chest is up, her head is up, her smile is from ear to ear, her laughing, nonstop laughing. So it was so obvious that she had the key, she had the power. As far as the Girl Alliance, there was, I mean, a coconut on the floor would know that they had a Girl Alliance when all the girls were always together in front of Tommy and I. Me and Tommy would just sit there like little puppy dogs, just watching them. Yeah, they're talking about us. Yeah, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And that's how it was. And I'm sure one day, hopefully, you don't talk to Tommy for a long time until the game is completely over. Hopefully, he crushes it. But the day you do talk to Tommy, I'm sure he's gonna tell you the same thing. We just sat there like puppy dogs.
I will make sure I will write that in my notes to ask Tommy that, so then I can correlate. That tribal, first and foremost, just well done on the entertainment value. It was so fun to watch as a viewer. I'm sure as a player, it was probably a different story.
Yeah.
But you mention the reads and Parvati, having that, knowing you knew that she had the key. When you went to her and accused her of that, obviously, which you knew your read was right, what was the goal? What was the intention?
So my goal, obviously, she had a necklace. I couldn't do nothing to her. What I wanted to do was to just create chaos, create confusion, create panic amongst the rest of the players. I pull out a shoe, I pretend to have an idol. So these players need to say, oh, you know what? If we put Tony's name down and he plays an idol, it could be one of us going home because it sure is in poverty. So that's what I was trying to do. I really thought I had a shot when I told Tommy, go talk to the girls because they're internationals. The girls were more powerful as girls than they were as internationals. But at that point, when I started throwing some doubt out there that, listen, this girl has the key, again, unbeknownst to me, that Parvati already told everybody about the key. I was still trying to create some kind of chaos. I told Tommy, please go talk to the girls. They need to break up Parvati and Sarit. That was the only pitch I can do. I can't tell Tommy, go talk to the girls to vote you out instead of me. So the only person left to do is Sarit. So that was my only play at that time.
Yeah, and I mean, here's the thing: you went out with a bang, and you went out swinging big. So I've got to ask: do you have any regrets on anything?
I really don't. I mean, I could only I played at the moment the way I felt. Watching it back, of course, I could say I could have did this, I could have done that. That's why I never regret anything I do while I'm out there, because being out there playing the game as fluid as it is, you make the decisions you make, whether they're dumb decisions, whether they work or they don't work. You make the decisions you make at the time you're making them based on what's in front of you. And again, it's not the edited version that everybody sees. It's the unedited version that you're there for 72 hours of filming for the 20, 30 minutes that you see on TV. So that's why. So I never regret anything because I know what it was like when I was actually playing the game in the moment. Watching it on TV, of course, you could say, "Oh man, I wish I could have did this." Yeah, of course. When I knew Lisa found an idol, and of course, when I knew that the idol was hiding in Jonathan's podium, of course, I could have made different moves. But I didn't know none of that unless I'm a psychic.
I was going to say, yeah. Hindsight is 2020. I've got a hypothetical question I do want to kind of ask you. Were there any AU players you wanted to work with? When you saw that AU group as you walked in, was there anyone that you were like, I want to align with this person?
The funny part is that the three guys, not just because they're guys, but the three guys that were on that side were the three guys that I've watched YouTube videos on, little snippets of them, like David, the Golden God, King George with the tattoo of an idol on his chest. I saw his crazy tribal. Luke building spy shacks. So I seen those three and I'm like, wow, all three of them are right here. The three people that I looked at are right here. I would have loved to play with them. The girls, I didn't know any of the girls. I'd never seen any YouTube videos on them, but the guys I did watch YouTube. So again, if I made it to the merge and played with them, I would have, again, maybe I wouldn't bond with George or David or Luke. Maybe I wouldn't have good bonds with them. Because, again, that's huge. When you talk to people, you can relate with certain people, and some people you just don't get along with, you just don't have that. So I could have been me and Sarah on that Aussie tribe could have been ride or dies. I just don't know how it would have played out. But it's just a tough game. Ali, you know how it is, man. Like if one person wakes up in a bad mood, that they don't want to be your alliance. They don't want to be in your alliance no more. They're gonna go somewhere else, and that's how fluid that game is.
So true, yeah. I mean, you are the expert on it, obviously.
Yeah.
My final question for you, Tony, is what was your favorite moment from this season? What is a personal thing you will always hold dear to you when it comes to this season?
It had to be the tribal. It had to be the tribal. It had to be because everything else, I couldn't do anything. I had to just sit there quietly and let the girls dictate my game. They were the majority. Whatever they said, I had to do. But I took matters into my own hands at that tribal council, and that was the only time in the whole time that I was there that I got to play my game. So that's the only thing that I could take from that. I played my game when how's that song go? I did it my way. That song, I did it my way. That's what I did at that tribal. I did it my way. I went out, but I did it my way.
Oh, God, you certainly did.
Yeah.
Final question. Where is the shoe idol? What's happening with the shoe idol?
You know what? I did an interview when I got voted out back in Australia, and I
Yeah.
think I forgot what the show is called. The one of the show I was interviewed by the two guys. I forgot what their name was, and we put it up there as memorabilia up in their studio. Yeah, dang it,
Drop your
it's
buffs. Drop your buffs.
that's what it is. Yes, that's right. We did it, and I put it up there so it could be in the museum of Survivor stuff. So my shoe right now is hanging up in that museum.
That's why I haven't seen that yet. I need to go watch that interview.
Yes.
But Tony, thank you so much for this moment. I know it didn't work out for you, but you will always be the two-time champ and in such a select group of winners. So well done on this season, and just thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Ali. I appreciate it. Thank you, man.